your visits here. So if you can stay with me, we'll come right back, I promise. Visiting with Phil Haney, the former Homeland Security intelligence analyst who has written a new book called See Something, Say Something. He was a whistleblower there. He said that superiors deleted from the databases all records mentioning Islam, Muslim, Sharia law, or jihad, and how this purge might have really led directly to the attacks that we saw out in San Bernardino, where 14 people were killed, and even down in Orlando, where a Muslim extremist killed about 50 people at that nightclub. And Phil is going to be here in Michigan to talk about his book and to visit with all of you next Monday at the Corners in West Bloomfield, next Tuesday at Dave & Buster's in Utica, next Wednesday at the St. Paul Evangelical Lutheran Church in St. Clair Shores. All the events are free at 7 p.m. Now, Phil, are you seeing any sign that we, because of the disasters that we're seeing, like the ones that you mentioned out in San Bernardino and down in Orlando, that there might be some reconsideration within Homeland Security to reconsider what we're doing and how we're approaching the identification of these people who are carrying out the violent acts?
Well, if some of the listeners heard Secretary of Homeland Security Jay Johnson respond to Senator Ted Cruz on the 30th of June at the Senate oversight hearings in Washington, D.C., you would have to say no, because according to Jay Johnson, he wouldn't recognize me if I walked into the room. Then he said that he had not taken time to look into my claims, and then he said that it was an interesting political discussion, but he wasn't, I'm paraphrasing, really interested in labels. Well, the information that was deleted was anything but labels. It was very specific, what we call biometric information, birth dates, places of birth, passport numbers, family names, those kind of things. What everybody thinks of when they talk about the dots. So according to the Secretary of Homeland, Jay Johnson, this isn't really that important of an issue. He hasn't even taken the time to look into my claims, according to his testimony to the Oversight Committee, meaning this Judiciary Oversight Committee. That was the 30th of June, just a month or so ago. So the point is, he's the Secretary of Homeland Security. My claims are of national security level. At the very least, he should either look into it and discredit me, say everything that Mr. Haney says is false, or actually look into it and address it honestly and see if there is some remedy, if there is some connection. But what Mr. Jay Johnson said in public before the Judiciary Committee was essentially the same way this administration treated me every single time I tried to bring up an alarm. Just ignored it, wouldn't respond, or pretended like it never happened. And so that's why I began to seek out members of Congress. The last 4 years of my career, I was there just about 50 times, essentially once a month, attempting to notify leaders of the different Senate and House committees about the nature of the threat we faced. To Mr. Cruz's credit, he did bring up a public hearing that was held on the 28th of June, and you can go on YouTube or on C-SPAN and look at the proceedings and you watch my testimony and my colleagues in counterterrorism. For the first time, according to people on the Hill, for the first time in history of the Congress of America, we actually talked about Sharia law in open public hearings. First time ever. That would be the 28th of June, 2016.
Hard to believe, huh? That it's taken that long through all that we've been through. Well,
that's right.
I hope your book has an impact and makes people pay more attention, and whether it'll have an impact on what they do at the polls on November 8th, we shall see. But it's worth considering what you've got in that book. See Something, Say Something, and it's long been my contention that if you're not willing to identify exactly what you're fighting, you don't have a chance to defeat it.
I'd like to mention real quickly it is actually called See Something, Say Nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say something?
Yes,
that's
which
that's
is
what was
exactly the point of the title.
Exactly.
We're so accustomed to the phrase that we skip right over it, and we don't even see what's standing kind of right in front of us.
And Phil,
that really is.
Phil, I just
the
want
point
you
of
to
the
know
book.
that is sitting right in front of me on my introduction for you. Phil Haney,
Yeah.
See Something, Say Nothing, and I said what's just sort of been ingrained in me: see something, say something. It's you automatically say it, but it's really say nothing.
Yeah,
and,
which is the point. We're
yeah.
not recognizing what's right in front of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Phil, thanks so
Yep.
much for being with us. Really appreciate it. Good luck with the book and travel safely.